So, last time we played, you are in Desoleum in Suna Regis on the planet Juno. You've just finished interrogating the leader of the Flesh Cutters gang on Juno, called Brother Ananias. He was difficult to subdue, but you used his brother that you had recovered in a heist earlier to convince him to work for you. And you could choose how you want to do it or what you want to do with him, but you have basically surrounded his gang, the Vigilites, which are the arbitrators of this planet. Kind of a semi-heretical version of the arbitrators. Have surrounded the club, and you have captured him effectively. Of course, his gang is quite large and tied in with lots of other things, but he is in there and he's your subject. Is there anything you want to do before you leave off? Before you leave there? He has about 15-20 men in the building, armed. You have not disarmed them, and Vigilites are surrounding the entrance. Some acolytes, undercover as Vigilites, are in the club. You can see them standing around various tables, sort of shifting around nervously. Some of them look at gangers try to just look away, stand around and smoke, and there's a lot of tension in the room. You have interrogated the leader of the Flesh Cutters, and right now you're standing there. This Flesh Cutter gang is called the Battle Marks Brigade. They are known for their jailbreaks, selling people as slaves. The Holston dynasty is connected to them, and they like to surround themselves with luxury. And you have basically captured their main base. And that's where we can begin, I think. Now, Tetricus, Hector, Jericho, Llewellyn, and a bunch of Vigilites are standing around. Ananias is sitting by a table. You've interrogated him. Yeah, you want to describe your character, Tom? Or say anything about what you do?
Standing tall with an altar strapped to his back, whose emanates smoke from incense burning upon its roof, wearing a mishmash of ecclesiastical cloaks with some rads that you would see on any imperial citizen. His shiny bald head reflecting the different lumen lights from inside the club, as his beard, that it's mainly white with a bit of a black streak coming down from his chin, is kept to a somewhat adequate degree for a man of our cloth. His muscle-bound arms flex in response to perceived threats, and relax, as well as his scowl, as he sees familiar faces in the ranks of law enforcement. The Flamer stands silent, undrawn, attached to the altar, as he sits beside the rest of the party, playing it by ear, offering an assuring presence and words of wisdom should that be necessary.
Awesome. Demetrius, you notice several of Ananias's men are looking at you. Your stern expression and sort of rigid appearance make some of them kind of wonder who you are. As you look at them one by one, they're dissuaded from looking back at you too much because you're surrounded by other vigil and acolytes. Are you doing anything particular, or do you want to describe anything?
Demetrius is just kind of looking back at them with a slight smile on his face as he just took over a table chair, sitting on it with his hand on the table, just resting over as there's is covered in fully in black with some gold accents every now and then. But every piece on them is black as it kind of fades into the background of this. What's it called again? The hide. Bloodstone.
Fletcher's gang. Fletcher's hideout.
Oh yeah, the fleshless hideout. Any black stuff just blading into it as he just looks at them. So, this has been an evening, hasn't it, gentlemen?
One of them just looks up at you and gives like a disgusted expression on his face. Looks back down. Franz, you doing anything?
Franz is sitting across the table from the head of the flesh cutters. Basically, he's leaning back in a chair, eyes occasionally going over to servitors that are downloading information from his personal computers and mainframes. In front of him is a datapad which showed the little trip that had been bought and paid for by our cover. He slowly turns it, deletes it, puts it back on the table, slides it back across to him, and as he does this, he actually holds up one that he's taken out from his pocket and says, "The information is still here. We will keep it. You play ball, we play ball, and we honor our promises."
You can see some of the gangers just looking up at you, tapping their feet nervously. Ananias gets up from his chair. He's wearing a gunmetal leather vest, spectacles that he slowly puts on as he gets up. He walks over to you and looks back and forth in the room. I'll keep my word.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. This could be very beneficial for both of us. But if you want it, once this is all done and dusted, it's here for you.
You can see him sort of resign as his shoulders sink down. He leans in so as not to be overheard by any of his followers. You saved my brother. That means a lot. You have my loyalty.
Good to hear. So, we had 2 more people going across to see the council of this planet. I'm assuming that any dealings with them would be on your personal computer, correct?
His eyes immediately dart down. You can see him thinking, it looks back up. You can see it through his very light spectacles. I don't know anything about that.
Franz is just gonna sit and look at him, look across to Ulu, and say, sorry, Demetrius, and say, "What do you think? Is he telling the truth?"
Well, let's see. As Demetrius is gonna walk over to him, put his hand on the shoulder. Look me in my eyes.
Looks up, not hesitating. Looks you in the eyes.
So, psychic power, telepathic link. I'm gonna try and read into his mind and see his surface thoughts.
96. Total failure.
Just don't roll the ups, dude.
Let's see.
Laser eyes. Straight through the
Laser.
skull.
Alright, let's see.
See what you get.
No,
Mm.
send that.
Nice. His surface thoughts are: don't say anything that will make them hungry. They're hungry for information. Just dismiss them until they leave.
So Demetrius gonna look at after we just made such a good deal. Now, we're not gonna leave until you give us an answer, even if no is not what we're looking for. You have a lead somewhere, and I want to know what it is.
Which?
Not really. I'm just
he looks
really
down.
good
You
at
can see his
reading.
eyes darting around on the floor. He immediately pulls his spectacles up closer to his eyes. What did you say?
What do you mean, what do I see? Don't you mean what I'm seeking?
Yeah.
Yeah, answer my friend's question. Truthfully this time.
He looks over. You can see him draw a deep breath. There's... What do you want to know?
Rand,
What do I want to know? Well, essentially everything, but that could take quite some time, and we're pretty much on a time limit. So, ideally, I want to know who's in league with these psychers. I want to know what their procurement, how they're procuring them. They say that they're going out and getting them, but they must actually. I'm assuming they're not just prowling the wastelands
As
looking
you
for
say
these things.
psychers, his eyes dart up to the VIP area, hinting for you to follow him, and he begins walking.
Gentlemen,
It's a soundproof booth. He enters, closes the glass door behind him. If any of you are left outside, you will see painted glass.
I'm gonna go in with him.
I will go in
Ananias.
by front side.
Awesome. Ananias stands there, folds his arms. He's gonna lean up against the wall. There is some kind of cult. He looks up, back and forth between all of you. You could have gotten this information anywhere. The council, they're infiltrated. I don't know how many. Some of them, more than one. They're serving some master beyond this world. Communications. Astropath messages. Not through the prefect. They're afraid of him. And they're all coming to Vasuna. He sort of covers his mouth as he looks in your direction. He's taken off his spectacles at this point, and he makes sure to look you in the eyes several times. Demetrius, between sentences. They're all coming, and I don't know what they're planning.
Now, do you know what they look like, or any general powers or descriptions? Or no, you just know that they're here?
He nods. Yeah, that's general knowledge. The person we were meeting was Egnon, the Veil Counselor. He's the one providing the mutants. From Solasarum. It's controlled by the Night House Solasar. He gets them from the bleak pits.
Right, the operation.
He just shakes his head. I don't know how much he knows. Maybe he thinks he's doing the right thing.
I don't suppose you happen to know who this Master of World is?
He nods. There's been intercepted messages. Some language we don't understand. Runes. Xeno runes.
Do you still have these messages, or no?
You can see his eyes immediately dart down, look at your shoes. Look back up. I just receive rumors. I've never seen it myself.
I must look at his server thoughts again.
Do a scrutiny test.
Oh, scrutiny? Never mind. Forget that roll.
You get a +10. Since you've read his thoughts.
I think I still have an inspiration. I'm an inspiration.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
He looks up at you, you meet his eyes. He's telling the truth.
No.
He looks back and forth. What do you want to know? I've seen all of them. There are a lot
So
of
when you
powerful
say
people in
Xenos, how exactly do they look? Or do you not remember the description? And if you do remember how it looks like, Demetrius reaches in the pocket, pulls out a piece of paper. Write it down for me. His best.
He looks down, you can see him immediately, like, his nervousness starts to grow. And he picks up a pack of glow sticks. Oh shit. Lights it. Begins smoking. There's more than one species.
Oh, don't worry, I'm very knowledgeable on that aspect.
No. There's more than one here in Juno.
Oh.
You'd be surprised how many Xenos races live amongst humans.
He looks over to you, Franz. You can see genuine fear in his eyes. They don't know that I know this. It's not coming back to you. To me. Right?
No. There's
No.
nothing he's here should leave the room, or at least not the people that snitch.
Well, I hope you find them. It causing me a lot of trouble. He, draws another deep breath of the low smoke. They're all usually on potty room. But they should be here by now.
They're coming to this building?
No, the administratum. They were all called here. I don't know why. The administratum building has been locked for several days.
Are we talking about all the Xenos groups? Just to
Not the Xenos,
clarify.
the council.
The council, right.
The prefect's council.
Oh, it's not necessarily something to worry about.
No, it might be something that's happening inside that building, especially since it's been locked for 7 days, apparently. Did anybody come out? Food, water?
I didn't hear that. What?
I said, has anybody come out since those 7 days for food or water?
He nods. I thought you already knew. Vigil. I think Wilhelm ordered the lockdown. I assumed you knew.
Mm-hmm.
The names that I have. Raphael. The court counselor. He's coming from Pottergrim. Egnon, of course. You already saw him. Titus, the district counselor. Zax, the judge. And the Duchess of Pottergrim.
Do I have a psyker or a priest in the car? Do I have a psyker or a priest in the car?
We already started, boy.
I figured. Sorry, ended up getting in a call I did not expect.
It's all right. Sorry, go ahead. I forgot what I was going to say.
You're all in the Flesh Cutters gang's hideout. And you've effectively captured their leader. Surrounded him. He is working with you voluntarily because you saved his brother during one of your raids. And the entire Flesh Cutters gang is there. You outgun them pretty heavily. You temporarily work as the Vigil, which are the arbitrators of this planet. And there are several acolytes as well surrounding this gang. You're right now in a private booth with the leader of the gang, Brother Ananias. That's all I know. The counselors, they're all coming to Vasuna. Something's happening. They're on the way to the Administratum. As I said, Martyr Domus, Lucia Vale, Zax, Egnon, Raphael Thorpe.
And
Demetrius just writes.
how's that picture coming along?
Analyze looks confused back and forth.
The Xenos?
The runes. I said, did you remember any? Write it down on this
I've
paper.
never seen them.
He said you said you've seen them earlier.
He shakes his head. No. I heard someone talking about it.
Okay, well, did they describe what the runes looked like?
He looks down. His eyes sort of shift back and forth. You can do a scrutiny test. Plus 20. He's definitely hiding
6.
something.
Success, so 6 additional.
He is definitely hiding something. He's
Oh,
not
right.
telling the truth.
So, Dimitri's gonna look at you. We have saved your brother, and we've made a deal with you. I expect you to come forward your information. And we're in this soundproof box, and you know we're not gonna tell anybody else about this.
The longer we're in here, the more suspicious it looks, as though you're spilling your guts to us.
He sinks down. The effect from the interrogation still wearing on him. Look. Some of the counselors are communicating with something off-world. We've intercepted runes. I don't know how to read them.
Do you still have the intercepted message?
Yes.
Okay, download onto this datapad now.
He shifts around. He nods and goes for the door. I want you to leave soon. As soon as I give you this.
Okay.
We can do that.
We will have, obviously, people keeping an eye on you for your safety, obviously.
He walks out first, chin held up high, and he strides back into the room. And walks over to the rest of the gang. He will walk off up the stairs and disappear for a few minutes. He comes back down, points to the door. All right, gentlemen. That's all the time I have.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I certainly hope this datapad is now full.
He, as you say that, he
And no
begins
longer
walking to the
empty.
door and motioning with his hand for you to shut up. He walks to the exit with a brisk pace. As you're about to follow him out the door, he slowly sort of hands you a data slate, puts it in the palm of your hand.
Without breaking a stride, Fran's just going to keep on walking out through the door, palming it and putting it in his pocket.
And remember, let us know next time. No more surprises.
Of course.
He has a pretty sour expression as you walk to the door. Tetricus will sort of stand by the door, one of the last to exit. Why are we leaving? Did you get
We
everything you
got what we
wanted?
came for.
I can crush your skull like a plum.
Oh, no, not yet.
There might be some more information in there that we want him to tell us before it's all squishy.
Please tell me
It's
you will
always good
leave.
to have an informant.
As you exit, Hector stands there, sort of hands folded. He walks up to you. Did you at least plant listening devices? Please
No.
tell me someone had command here.
We have the information we actually need at the moment. There will be agents stationed throughout this place. We're trying to keep it softly at the moment.
Right. A couple of vans will come driving up the street. Vigil guards walk out with their ornate arbitrator outfits. Tetricus gets into the van, fires it up.
What do you call it? Franz is gonna just motion to Hector and say, Hector, softly. We're trying to actually build trust with him. That's not to say that it doesn't turn nasty later.
Tetricus, Hector, Jericho, Llewellyn, everybody gets into the van. Takes a seat. Tetricus starts at the engine.
Alright, it's time to go.
Yep, I'll get back into the van and away we go.
Tetricus begins driving. As you're driving down the street, you see Lumen flashing above you as you begin driving out of Desolate.
Now, friends, give me the data pad. I mean, data sleep.
Okay, I'll hand it over and answer the incoming call.
Look, Demetrius is gonna start looking through it.
Awesome. On the data slate, you will see that it's been wiped clean. There are a few images that seem to have been taken from somewhere. It's like you can see the corners are kind of faded in yellow. The images are of a screen. It's not clear where this screen is. It's a cogitator somewhere. On one of them, you see there's a bunch of logs, a bunch of gibberish. It doesn't mean much to you. Next to it, you will see a few runes in Eldari. Sort of enhanced up to the side, almost like a forensic image. 2 lines of runes.
No. Like, they're legible, right? They're not just some faded picture.
Yeah.
Can I do a Xenos lore?
Do you read Eldari? Linguistics Eldari?
Linguistics Eldari, let me see. Ain't no way I didn't pick one. Ah!
I do.
Do it, man. Read it.
You get a -20. It's very hard to say.
Failure with 4.
I'll let you take a 20. You get a basic success. No degrees of success, just a success. You interpret it on the way back to wherever you're going. As you know, Eldar text is not literal, so there's a lot of symbolism. And the message is an order for the leaders of the humans, and it is from Eldari. They're demanding more psychers. to keep the storm alive. Lest, and this is all just symbolic, so you're just putting it together and it's kind of not super clear. But it's basically, we need more sacrifices to keep the storm alive, lest he awakens.
Oh, that's how they've been keeping it alive. Like human slinkers, not their own might. And the planet is in on it, or they're demanding it by some type of threat.
And it's a message for the leaders of the humans, who seem to be, if this is correct, not a forgery and not some kind of deception. The humans are willingly giving away these psychers, providing them to whoever this person is writing for, Eldar is writing for.
Well, best case scenario, they're just committing heresy. Worst case scenario, they're committing heresy and working with Xenos.
Probably the latter, if this pictures were good, true.
It's not looking good for them.
Jericho leans in over his seat. Let me see that.
Sure. Demetrius passes it off to him.
He leans back in his seat, starts reading. He just sits there and reads it again and again and again, takes out a magnifying glass, looks down, scrolls back and forth.
So, if this information in the data set is true, if we follow the pipeline of human psychers, we should find whatever this Eldar is.
And with
And
a
also
sly
this
grin,
information.
and with a sly grin, Franz is going to turn to Demetrius and say, "Or we could just give them you."
At a certain point, I would agree with this plan, but at this point, I don't want to do it because I never know which type of Eldar it is, and I don't want to get tortured by a Dark One. And also, we have to find somebody willing to sell me, which isn't that hard to do. But at a certain point, we're not going to get sent down the straight pipeline. It might be somebody else unrelated to the Eldar entirely.
Jericho lowers the data slate, looks up. If we find, cast a wide net. If we find someone riding a lorry, worshipping their gods, carrying their artifacts, that'll be our clue. They're obviously
gonna
talking.
be-
They're obviously talking to them.
Correct. That is going to be hard, though, especially on the high road. Were you able to tell where these pictures were taken? Because I can't.
No idea. Somewhere dark.
Somewhere dark and with cogitators. And that barely narrows it down.
Yeah, I'll do a closer analysis when we come back. I don't think he's real. I don't think he's bluffing.
It's probably true. And there is the Administration place that has been locked down for 7 days, but that might be risky to enter, because we don't know what they're actually planning in there.
Jericho holds his seatbelt while he sort of leans back and talks to you. We do have access to the Administratum. If he's telling the truth and they're all coming here, we can intercept them. Just
Yeah,
remember,
second.
we don't have authority to arrest anyone.
I was
As-
thinking
as the
about
vigil.
getting an informant in there, just so we could get enough evidence if there's anything happening.
Jericho nods. I'm just following your lead.
So that gives us two lines of information. One, find out whoever the other contact is and find where the pipeline goes. And the second is try to infiltrate the administrator building, which both is not an easy task to do right now.
Boyle, you're all in the van, driving from the interrogation of Ananias, the leader of the Fleshcutters. He has given you a data slate with an image taken of communications between the Council, according to him, which are the de facto leaders of this planet and the sector, and Eldari. See no aliens.
I see.
And you're sitting in the van now, analyzing it, and they, according to this image, if it is correct and not some kind of deception, they seem to be ordering human psychers for the purposes of some sacrifice to keep a storm alive, to keep someone from awakening.
Boyle's going to. He was sort of sitting in the back. He was laying down, passed out. But after going over a particularly rough bump, he sort of jumps up and smacks to the side of the wall. What? Right, the data slate. Okay. Hey, would you mind giving me that for a second? I want to check something.
Jericho,
Sure.
the Prime, has the data slate. He's just holding it in his hand. You know... Yeah, why not? Leans over, hands you the data slate.
Thanks. Boyle's going to sort of zoom into like certain areas of the picture. He's like analyzing the pixels. He wants to see if he wants to check if this image was somehow forged or was created digitally rather than being taken.
Beautiful. Do a scrutiny test.
All right, I'm actually pretty good at those.
You get a +10.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and spend my inspiration to re-roll that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, it's slightly better. Rather than a 99, I'm instead going to get a 97 for an additional -3.
Jericho leans back and sort of snickers. Looks like you're having some trouble. Do you need help?
Yeah, how do I change the size of the image?
Don't worry about it. I've been there. Take a look at
Because
this.
I'm trying the dial, but the dial just takes me to a different, to a blank page.
Yeah,
And,
the data slate is not working right. You take this. He hands you a magnifying glass.
Oh, thanks. This should help a bit. And Boyle's just going to peer through the magnifying glass. It does not help. It does not give the magnification required to check to see whether or not it's correct.
Luckily
And,
for you, Jericho puts a hand on your shoulder. So, as you can see, some kind of message from an Eldari. They're telling their human leaders, I'm not sure exactly who they're referring to provide more psychers. Now, we know of a few places on this planet where they keep psychers. The Bleak Pits and Solosarum. But those psychers are highly unstable. I don't know if they would be using them. Other than that, most of them are locked up.
I see. Wouldn't we be able to, like, call upon a black ship to come take a look? That's their job, right? To, like, find psychers?
We
see
have all the
black
black
ship
ship records.
Yeah. We can't really use those. We just know where they send them.
Oh,
Besides black ship, there's other ships
Well,
that could be used to send
Could
psychers.
be a good place to start. I'll look for the records. Good idea, Neil.
gotta give you one reason to keep me around.
Now, if this
Neil
Eldar is
secretly in
off,
spirit says thank you.
A good idea, Boyle. Sorry.
now if this Eldar is off planet, they'll have to be using ships, or there's always the option of a secret runway, which I doubt exists here, but there's always a chance.
Well, I mean, this is a hive city, so it could just be buried deep down. One thing that we could do is, well, I don't know if we have any psychers, but maybe we could have a couple poke around the Undercity.
Jericho's hand slowly leans up, a signet ring on his pointing finger as he points to Demetrius.
Oh!
We have one.
Boyle will shuffle away. Cool. You wouldn't happen to be the look for warp stuff psycher, would you?
Technically, that is any psyker in existence.
Sweet. Then you could look for a warp portal. That's what the Eldar travel through, right?
No, because that would be too obvious.
Well, can you try?
Yes. Do you want
Boyle
me
will
to?
Boyle will shuffle to like the other side of the van, sort of crawling over the backseat and getting almost to like the trunk area. Yeah, sure. Go ahead now.
Close is the car to the base? Or are we still a ways off?
You begin driving out to large, dark, rock-creed buildings with beautiful Gothic architecture. You can see monorail trains sparkle above you through the tainted windows. All kinds of people with neon signs, clubs lining the streets, vigil patrols. As you drive up a pretty steep hill, you begin driving out of Desoleum. Titricus, overhearing your conversation, leans around. You can see his heavy-set head as he lowers his low stick with one hand. Did anyone say anything about where we're going? We've just been driving in circles.
So we forgot to give him the direction. Alright. So, since we're driving around circles long enough, just no one should be telling us to take us back to our home base right now.
You mean the warehouse?
Yes.
I thought it was ruined.
And it's saying shit when I wasn't here for that.
Yeah, take us back to the Watcher's place? The local Albrights, whatever they're called. Yeah, those guys.
You can hear Tetricus drive the shift and the van sort of coughs as he turns slowly to the left and goes further out of Desoleum. You sit and watch as Tetricus slowly drives in to what looks like an unassuming entrance to a warehouse. It's just a gate that he drives up to, and it opens. The grand precinct is visible to you. Way into the fog and the smog of the evening. It's late night, and you can see this dim orange, beautiful glow in the air. The bright lumen light casters of the grand precinct hover back and forth and illuminate this orange, sort of piss-colored sky. He slowly drives up to the gate, this brutalist structure. As it opens, and he drives into complete pitch dark blackness. You're enveloped by darkness as the car begins to shake, and you hear this hum as you drive into the tunnel. You begin to hear static on the Voxcaster. Some talking. Tedricus turns it off, and you slowly drive into a brightly lit hall. Sort of a mustering hall. You can see tons of vigil around you, carrying heavy weaponry, loading them onto trucks. Most are retiring, and you can see them take off their uniforms, stand around and talk. And there's an elevated platform leading into the station. The top floor is the Inquisitorial precinct, and there is an elevator. As Tedricus stops the van, unlocks the door, you can see Cyanan, the vigil who was kind of trailing you. He is still standing there. You don't know if he had a break or if he came back or has just been standing there waiting. But he slowly walks up to the van as you approach.
Oh crap. Well, it looks like we should be going before we get wrapped up into this mess again. Boyle sort of says that to the group as he begins opening the door on the other side from which the dude is approaching, and he will get out and attempt to slip away to the mess hall.
You immediately get out, get all your backpacks and bags over your shoulders, and begin walking. You can see Sion just nonchalantly begin to slowly stroll behind you, following you.
You don't know. It's much better to just talk to the man instead of trying to avoid him.
Well, you're more than welcome to try.
Sorry,
Oh.
Franz is going to go on to the intercom and go, Neil.
Yes. I've been waiting here. Are you guys finally around?
Where are you? Where's the car?
I've been waiting here, hoping that I would have some sort of accompaniment before I went to infiltrate the department. Apparently you guys went to visit, the gentleman you met the other evening for that exchange.
Yes, I thought we were doing it simultaneously. Give me 15 minutes, I'll be with you.
Sounds good to me.
And with that, he's going to actually go and start getting changed into something a little bit more dignified. And as he walks past our little shadow guy, he's going to do and go, "You go nowhere. We have words to be having."
I wasn't planning on it.
And he's going to get changed, get on a motorcycle, and go to Neil.
Boyle's going to follow behind him. He just grabbed like a quick roll from the mess hall, and he meets him outside of his room, and then begins. He will hop on the back of the motorcycle and say, "So, where are we going?"
Well, it seems that Neil has been doing a Tetricus and driving around in circles.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know he knew how to drive. Didn't we send like that Arbite guy with him specifically so that he could be driven by him?
Well, I suppose we'll find out.
Should I also get changed into something nicer? Or will I be fine just, in my usual outfit?
The locker rooms there are for general vigil use. dirty, absolutely decrepit. You can see the holes in the wall. Some of the lockers have been broken into. The actual inquisitorial precinct which you use is on the top floor. You're now in the general vigil, and the grand precinct is impossibly large. You bump into vigil, effectively arbitrators, every step you take. As you walk into these dirty showers and locker rooms, you change, put on your regular clothes. Several vigil inspect you as you look a little bit out of place.
As they go to the regular, Demetrius is just gonna go to the elevator and just start going to the top floor.
Alright.
And Franz got changed into his splendid regalia of a commissar before setting off.
Boyle will go to one of the lockers that isn't broken, break into it, and just, grab a random set of civilian clothing from somebody who's currently on duty.
Alright, you look over your shoulder. Do a deception test. You're trying to look
Alright.
unassuming, and basically, it's not a technical effort to break into the locker, but requires some amount of social awareness.
Good lord, that is going to be a 96 with a -2 degrees of success.
You begin breaking into the locker. You're a bit unlucky as someone turns the corner and you immediately hear, "Hey! What do you think you're doing?"
I look to him confused and I say, I'm just trying to get into my locker. I mean, it's stuck.
He walks up to you, not saying a word. He's very tall, gaunt. You can see his friend sort of standing, looking over in your direction. He has a holster over a white tank top with a las gun on his chest. He walks over. He has some kind of dog tag around his neck. He walks over to the locker, slowly sort of inspects the lock. "Yeah, that's my locker. You can't read? That's my name."
That's locker 2945. I just got this locker.
"Okay, that's my name."
Well, yeah, but it's not your locker anymore. Didn't you get the memo? It was on the board.
He looks back at his friend. "That's my locker. It's
All
always
right, well,
been
go
mine.
to the board
It's
and
always
find
gonna
your
be
new
mine."
locker.
Who are
All
you?
right, well, then take your stuff out of it, and then I'll grab my stuff. Okay?
I've never seen you before.
Neither have I seen you. It's a big building.
Let me see your badge.
It's in my locker.
Go find it.
All right, let me get my locker open then, and I'm going to complete breaking in, and I'm going to take a look in the locker and see if there's a badge in there.
You begin breaking into his locker.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep opening the locker.
How do you do it?
So basically, can you describe what the locker looks like to me?
Classic locker. There is a basically a punch card slot that you put a punch card into, and it opens a mechanical lock.
All right then. What Bo's going to do is he's just going to sort of like rattle the locker and attempt to just force the latch open, just by rattling it, basically, like it's one of those ratty things that can just be pulled open. It just look like it's the same way that you would open a stuck locker, just with a brute force, a technical lifting sort of maneuver.
Okay. You easily jolt the lock open, and the locker sort of slides open. What do you think you're doing? I told
getting
you,
into my
that's
locker.
my locker.
All right, fine then. Let me get my stuff out of it.
You see this disgusted frown on his face. He has a slight mustache, sort of trimmed really tall. As I said, gaunt, heavy built, very tall. He looks over his shoulders, and at this point, as you lean into his locker, he's gonna push his right hand into your chest and push you up against the side of the lockers. What do you think you're doing?
You'd asked me to get my badge. I'm trying to get my badge.
That's my stuff.
Okay, but my stuff's in there too. Did you not look? Okay, how about me and you? Let's go to the board and I will show you the board.
At this point, he turns totally red as a lobster. You can see like visible sweat pearls on his forehead. He's breathing heavily. I've had enough of you.
And with this, you'll hear a behind him.
Breathing heavily still, he looks over his shoulder. His eyes slowly jolt back and he looks at you.
What
He
is
just
going on here?
immediately, his eyes fill with confusion. Why? What's the commissar doing here? Are you with him?
This
your goon?
is my fool of an adjutant. What is
Get
going
him
on
the
here?
fuck out of here!
Boyle?
He immediately grabs you by the neck. I don't know how strong you are, Boyle.
Boyle is not that strong, but Boyle's gonna try to wriggle out of his, wriggle out of the way before he can be grabbed.
You easily do so, and sort of get out of his grip. He's not trying to fight you yet.
I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing. He just suddenly came at me because I was trying to get access to my locker.
I've heard enough. Boyle, stand your ground. You punch him.
My pleasure.
One.
Wait, what?
You walked into the wrong room, Cadre. BAM! He knocks you right in the mouth.
Alright. How much damage do I take?
You want to dodge?
Boyle is confused at the moment, so he does not have a reaction. He's surprised.
He hits. That's gonna be a 5 damage, bludgeoning to your face.
Cool. Absorbed by my toughness, I will take 2 wounds. Boyle is knocked to the ground. He spits up a tooth, and he will glare at this person, and he will reach into his coat pocket, and he's going to hesitate for a moment, stand up, sort of dust himself off the best he can, and he's just going to walk out of the room, but he's going to try to remember that person's face.
He's got a buzz cut, very heavy set face, big old chin, cheekbones way up in his head, very narrow eyes, pale skin, very straight eyebrows, very thick, and he raises you up with his hand. You're gonna do what the commissar says from now on. And if I see you here again, I'm gonna break every tooth in your mouth.
Sorry, did he grab me after he punched me?
Yeah.
Cool, I'm going to stab him in the throat.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, I'm just not gonna let him grab me. Like, if he tries to reach down to grab me, I'm gonna roll out of the way.
Okay.
He's gonna shout out, he said 1 punch, any more, and I get to retaliate.
He will lean down, and he will definitely try to hold you, so you can't move.
Boyle's going to attempt to roll out of the way.
You do so pretty easily. He doesn't have a heavy grip on you.
Boyle, with me now.
You better do what the commissar says, boy.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I spit on the floor. I'm gonna spit some blood on the floor, and I'm gonna walk out with the commissar.
Commissar, I want a full report on this incident. Delivered to Wilhelm himself.
I will consider.
Do you hear me?
Franz
Like a
is
little
going to look him up.
spittle falls out of his mouth and down his cheek.
Franz is just going to look him up and down, turn around, and walk away without any words.
You can see him standing there like in a gorilla pose, breathing heavily, red as a lobster, just boiling.
And as he pulls level with Boyle, he's going to say, please try not to antagonize the locals.
I didn't. Well, okay, well, maybe... I mean, I was trying to de-escalate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Cyanon, the arbitrator following you, is going to watch you as you walk out of the vigil locker room. He sees your mouth, your face. As you approach, he sort of straightens up. What happened?
I looked to the commissar.
A little interdepartmental training.
I don't think you mingle well with the vigil. You probably shouldn't be down here.
Yes, I was thinking pretty much the same thing. And with that, we shall make our exit. And he's going to carry on walking, jump on a motorcycle, and prepare to leave.
Where do you go?
We go to Neil's location, which is outside the council building, was it?
No, you're all in the
Up to
Grand
me.
precinct. Unless I missed something.
Yeah, the last episode, well, sorry, the last session he was going to see the council, I think.
Yeah, I was going to pose as a still active officer and get into the department of the actual police and whatnot. And counselor was supposed to be there or something.
Can you speak up, Nick? Can't really hear you.
I was going to pose as a still active officer and try to get into the department where the counselor would be or something.
Which counselor?
Neil?
Now?
That's the goddamn mic. Hello? Hello? Sorry. Am I coming in now?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. We split for the different investigations we were doing. They were going to handle the gang. I was going to handle with one of our other associates trying to get into the actual apartment of the other.
Oh, I give you a
Gonna
map of the
say-
city, so you don't have to
Yes.
struggle with names. Hold on. There you go.
I was trying to get to the other arbitists.
The rest of the group is at the Grand Precinct here.
Alright. Then I'd probably be nearby. Again, I was supposed to begin checking the other. I was supposed to go in with the assassin. I was supposed to go in with the assassin to try and check some of the other arbitists.
You're in the right place, the Grand Precinct. That's where the arbitrators are.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry, maybe that's probably my mistake. Then I apologize.
I'm fine. For a moment, I was looking at my notes, going, "What did I fuck up?"
In character, guys. We're in character.
Understood. Begin to pull out. Stopping vehicle now. As then you see our ride begin to pull up and me stepping quickly out from the passenger door.
The Grand Precinct
Almost
consists of a series of elevated, pyramid-like structures with roads leading down to the city. The lumen are extremely bright. Pict recorders pan every direction. You can see Vigil go about their duties, holographic displays flickering real-time, crime data and updates and reports. Hovering servo skulls zip through the air, scanning every entrance. In the center of a precinct is a towering crystalline building reaching all the way up to the skyline. And near the top is the Inquisitorial precinct.
Seems we're finally here. I heard that I was going to be meeting with another one of our associates, an assassin of some sort. However, plans may have changed.
It certainly seems that way.
Right. Before anyone else notices, though, as we begin to approach, if I may ask, why do you have a bloody Boyle next to you?
How about you don't, and we just keep going on with the mission?
Just want to make certain the whole team is okay.
I'm not,
All right.
but it's fine.
If anyone asks, I hope that there's already set up some sort of fallback or story for us then. Alright, I'm going to put the helmet on and get fully suited. I'll go in front. Follow close behind.
Awesome. I'll do a recap since we didn't do the intro and we have put new players here. Just do an intro to the general campaign style. So we play very differently than D&D and classic games. Nothing actually happens unless you do it as players. If you want to go somewhere, just say that you go there. Everything is in character and we drive the story forward. I'm not going to do it ever, so scenes have to be drawn forward by the players describing what you do. Action-oriented, it is assumed to play out in real time, so if you don't say anything, you're either walking or continuing to do the action that you previously did. Time moves
Excellent,
forward
Ben.
even if no one is talking. And if you want the party to move somewhere, just say, did you go there? Unless someone objects, you all move there. Someone will probably speak up if they disagree.
All right, in that case, Boyle's going to go ahead and take all the party to the car. Tetricus is unfortunately not there to drive us, so he'll pop in and he'll say, "All right, everyone, could somebody give me the location of the nobles' houses, and we'll just go to the first one. I'll just be your guys' driver because I do not look the part of an Arbite or an important person who would talk to important people. So, yeah, that being the case, let's see, the data slate should show their locations. So let's just go to the closest one, which would be, Boyle's just going to take a look at the list, and he's going to cross-reference the name with the location of their primary residence. Which one looks to be the closest to our location right now?
So the council of the prefect, Chodorov, mainly live on one of the moons on Juno, called Potagrim. It is a pleasure world where they have their vast palaces, gifted to them by the Duchess of Potagrim, Lucia Vale. There are several influential, powerful people that live on Juno. Side in Vesuna region, information on who is there right now. Zax, an Arbites judge, who is also a counselor, Zax Holston. He lives in Precinct 13 in Vesuna Regis, a fortified courthouse. Martyr Dumas also has an estate in Vesuna Regis. He is a master of judgment and leader of the Night House Olisar, but he usually resides in Solosarum. So that is Martyr Domus, the leader of the Night House, Zax, an Arbites judge. Those are the only ones with estates. Titus Penumbres also has an estate in the city. He is a district councillor.
Right.
You also heard from the Sorry, you also heard from the interrogation of the Fleshcutter's ganger earlier in this session that all the counselors have been called to the Administratum building. The Administratum building is occupied by the Vigil, which is what you are right now. And you don't know why they have been called there. But every counselor and a few other notable people have all been called together in the Administratum.
Seems as if things.
All right then. This looks like a pretty open and shut case. We just do same like the club. We kidnap the ganger dude's brother. We'll go ahead, get some guys to post us some local watchers, and we'll go ahead and send you guys in. You guys will pretend to be watchers. We'll probably have to get changed to our watcher uniforms that we have. I'll meanwhile wait outside, use my prey sense to look inside and do some cool stuff. And yeah, everyone pile in, and we'll head back to the watchers, to the Grand Precinct, where we'll be able to go ahead and get some uniforms, and then I'll take you guys there. Everyone good with that?
This evening's going to be interesting. Sounds fine to me. Commissar, imagine you're ready.
I'm ready. Demetrius, do you want to tag along?
No, I think I'll be doing something else today.
All right then. I guess where do you want me to drop you off then?
Oh no, I'll just be back at the precinct.
Oh, okay. In that case, let's do this. And Boyle is going to get in the car, and he's going to start driving everyone back to the precinct so that we can all get into the Watcher uniforms.
Before you leave,
Sad to say.
Hector, the interrogator, shouts as you turn back to the van. Are you leaving already? I thought we were going up to speak to the others.
Bit of a change of plans. We were just considering a quick detour so that we can go ahead and, take a look at that Administratum building that's currently being defended by the watchers of this place.
And you weren't planning on telling anyone else?
Well, I had assumed that we were given liberty to do what was necessary. I didn't realize that we were being overseen. My apologies.
We are a team. You're supposed to communicate.
Sorry, I'm not used. Yes, my apologies. In that case, we're going to be heading back to the Grand Precinct so that we could get some Watcher uniforms, so that when we go to the Administratum building, we can pose as guards.
You're in the Grand Precinct.
I thought we had... Sorry, out of character for a minute. I thought we had left to go pick up the...
Oh, we're in character.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm literally retarded, and I don't know where we are.
You're in the Grand
Sorry,
Precinct.
Hector,
It says on your screen if you open Roll20.
I have Roll20 open. I just thought that we were on a place without a map.
If you look at Roll20, it says Grand Precinct. Top image.
Yes,
Oh.
of course we were coming to speak to the rest of the team, Hector. We're just getting a couple of things from the van first. Unfortunately, Boyle has, as you can see, and he's going to put him round, had a bit of a blow to the head earlier. He's a bit discombobulated.
I can see that. Unlucky. However, there's no need for you to be here. If you have business elsewhere, we can wait for you. Unless you want one of us to come with you.
Well,
Tetricus, Jericho, and the rest sort of stand there looking at you.
Well, I could use a servitor if you want to go up and have a chat, gentlemen. I got a couple of things I want to run.
You want me to provide you a servitor?
No, I'm not. Sorry, I was not talking to you, Hector. I was talking to the gentleman to my left and right.
He folds his hands, sort of muted.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
I could look for a servitor, but what do you
Yeah.
want me to do? What do you need it
Don't-
for?
Don't worry about it. Come on, let's go. Hector, do you want to lead on?
I would love to. Death and destruction. Let's go.
Wait a moment. You said we can proceed if one of you join us, which we presumably you. Is there anything we can try to do with our resources a bit better if we're going to be leaving one of ours here?
Just take
Well,
what
we
you
could
need
have-
from the armory.
Well, we could always have one of them take a look into the black ship archives. I believe that's something that we needed to do.
If you need the key to the armory, I have it.
All right, that might be able to help.
Is there anything critical you need?
Well, at the moment we're going to be heading to try to blend in with the Watchers, and we know that all the counselors will be arriving there tonight. It seems as if it'll be really straightforward, but if there's anything we're not expecting, I think we should have some better prep and a backup plan. Depending on what's available in the armory, we can try to improvise something. Unless perhaps the commissar has some tactical suggestions.
Well, what we could do, and I might just still be my brain being discombobulated here. Please tell me if this is stupid. If we could get like a melt-to-charge, we could always have an emergency escape route.
If we need a melt to charge, then there's no point in having an escape route.
Yep. At that
Well,
point,
yeah,
how are you
so-
going to use as an excuse that you're one of the vigilants? They have a standard equipment. A melter charge is not in it.
Well,
Apologies, Boyle. Not a
yeah,
bad
I-
idea if we were actually loose, but we're trying to be covert.
Fair enough.
Yeah, to be fair, I like where your mind's going to, but unfortunately, I think that if shit were to hit the fan, it doesn't really matter what we've got. Just don't get caught.
There's a debate I have in my head. I know Watchers and the Vigil aren't the exact same as the Arbitus. However, don't they at times travel with dogs?
No idea.
Alright, well, I had a bit of an idea, however. I do believe we should try to make certain we have some spare stims and definitely some backup ammo versus what we already presently have. And
Well-
maybe, depending on what Boyle can use, Lord forbid anything gets messy from the vehicle, where he'll be sitting since he'll be driving us in, that I think he should have some sort of fallback weapon. If that's possible for us to quickly do.
Well, I mean, I have everything that I could possibly need on me. And I have, I have my emergency buttons on hand that I can press if needed.
Right, well, you two go to the armory then, get whatever you want, or what you can get. If they happen to have any bolter shells lying about that won't go miss, will not be noticed missing, I wouldn't mind those, but I'm going to go and see what I can find out on this cult.
All right.
Excellent. We'll be regrouping here soon then. I'll go try to find the spare ammo and the stims.
And
Me and
I'll
Boyle
take a
will-
look to see if I can find the armor and stuff so that we could do the posing of people correctly.
Yes. We'll get
Do
the
not get
attire and be
punched
right
in the
back.
face again.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid that this time.
This time, he'll be under a bit more watch. No worries. Anyhow.
Well, as the others go do their thing, Demetrius is going to go up to the elevator and go to the Inquisition floor and go to his room.
Alright.
No, everyone else is working and he's going to bed.
Nope, I'm doing thingies. I'm just letting you people do your stuff first.
And then secretly he pulls out a device no one knew about and begins to contact an entire organization.
Hail Dar, it's me, the heretic. Go ahead and kill all these.
Anyway.
I mean, Emperor.
So I'm going to go to the data loom and see whether or not there is Any major cult activity that has been brought to attentions regarding psychers or any reference to someone who sleeps?
So are you in the inquisitorial data loom,
Yep,
or
yep.
you? Okay, so you take the elevator up to the inquisitorial data loom, and upon leaving, Cyanon is gonna follow you. Now, I believe you wanted Hector to join you, so he's not here. As you enter the station, you can see that the armory door is open. Cyanon is standing there. You walk inside and you can see the Archconfessor standing in the control room. You walk past the control room. He doesn't notice you. The data loom is at the end of the hall.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go walking up to it, put in my identification, and try to gain access.
As you walk in, there's a faint echo of your footsteps on the metallic floor. A green light sort of flickers from the fan at the end of the room. Dim lumen illuminates endless rows of machines. In the middle, there is a deep hum of a machine maintained by Sumakri Corpum. The data loom has a open slot for you to hook into. If you just want to use the levers and various buttons and interface, you can do a tech use test. You get a -20. This impossibly complicated machine, maintained by Sumakri, stretches through the entire room. Sumakri will, annoyed, look over one of the cogitators in your direction. "What are you doing here? I thought I would be left alone."
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm actually trying to seek some knowledge. Unfortunately, this seems rather complicated, and I was wondering if I could trouble you for a moment of your very precious time.
"What do you need now? I am very busy with research." He begins
Well,
hobbling in your direction, his mechanical eyes flickering back and forth, scanning the surroundings under his hood.
well, I'm actually looking for some information in regards to potential cult activity and something which is a wee bit more vague, as in someone or something who sleeps, and its relation to Xenos in the area.
Query. Interesting. Sumakri hobbles over to the cogitator, sort of brushes your hand away, annoyed, away from the interface. He hooks up his MIU. You immediately see his eyes begin to flicker back and forth. He just stands there, and this deep humming mechanical noise emits from his Vox hailer. He looks in your direction as he begins to shift through the data. You can see his eyes just dart back and forth. There is a mention of a sleeping giant. Rumors among the mutants. Dismissed by Wilhelm.
Does it say what the sleeping giant is? Is it Mechanicus in nature? Or more incorporeal?
It seems to be ancient. Before the time of man. Or so the rumors go.
So before the time of man or before the time of the Imperium?
Both.
Does it say if it has corporeal form or non-corporeal form?
Very much alive. They theorize, if it awakens, it will destroy not only the sector, but indeed the Imperium itself.
Okay. Could I ask if you could download this onto a data slate for me?
You hear some buzzing and he immediately pulls out a data slate. Hands it to you.
And that's all the information on there, yes?
No. There's endless information.
So this is the Cliff Notes.
He looks up at you. It contains everything.
Okay. Could take a bit of time to get through it then. And he's going to say it with a smile, and then the smile's just going to fade as he sees his dead red eyes.
He, sort of releases the data slate. Be careful with that. It is quite valuable.
It will not be leaving the building.
I doubt you will be able to read it. I guess I should tell you. It speaks of a researcher in the Magnus district. Apparently he has found the virus. Some kind of Xenos mutation. Seradict macrophage. The biologist mages.
He's a biologist magus, right? And you can see him just actually writing down in a notepad just a couple of keywords. And what he's going to do is he's going to hand the data slate back and say, I feel that this information is probably best kept with yourself.
So be it. He extends his hand, gently pulls the data slate back.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you get back to your work. Again, my thanks, and if you need anything, just give me a call.
An unusually polite visit. I appreciate it. If there is anything you need, you know how to reach me.
Many thanks. And with that, he's going to turn, listen before he actually takes any steps. He will then take one stop and listen for any sounds of feet or clinking, the way his did whenever he walked in, and then just carry on.
You're completely alone with him in the room. You don't hear anyone else. As you turn around, he, again, he seems to be following you. Are you behind it? The mutation. Be very careful. It might be contagious. You can see this eagerness in his eyes.
I'm pretty sure that neither of us want to get any of that on us.
Are you sure you don't want to read the notes before you go looking for it? Annoyed, he sort of...
I'm assuming then, yes. Let me have a look.
He pockets the data slate. I will just tell you.
Oh, okay.
The xenomutation causes the subject to grow new cells at a startling rate. He closes his eyes as he seems to access the data he has read. They seem to organize in a decentralized manner. Incredibly powerful. But they burn energy fast. From this information, I estimate that the subject needs up to 10 times more psychic and natural energy than a regular human. He nods to himself as he seems to be calculating something.
And I'm assuming that because it's creating so many cells at such an expanded rate, it could particularly morph its cellular structure into larger, smaller, something which could engulf something humanoid-sized.
We can only theorize about his properties. Something with this amount of RNA domination will probably be mutating quickly. I am finally studying Xenos. This is thrilling. Thank you for this opportunity.
By all means, if you wish to continue to study and relay any findings, that would be most helpful.
He nods as he folds his hands. I feel some amount of joy in my work for the first time in many years. I am not only doing maintenance. I find his research exciting. With your blessing, I will continue to search.
You have it.
So Macri nods, walks back to the cogitator, hooks up his MIU. You can see him leaning to the flickering screen as it lights up his face.
And with that, he'll leave the data loom. And I'll just start making my way down to where the rest of them are.
Awesome. You get an inspiration point. Neil, what do you want to do?
And as me and Boyle begin to enter the armory, I begin to look for whatever different appropriate ammo fills both mine and the other team,
Sorry, I meant
particularly the
Boyle.
I am. Well,
No, Neil, you're the one who went up, or was it Boyle?
we were going.
We
together.
both had.
You both
Two of
were,
them.
okay. Nice.
Yes, I was just saying that I went for the appropriate ammo. He's going for the various armor, and then he's going to check back with me, probably to make certain that the attire is
As-
correct. Since I used
As soon
to
as you
actually-
enter, Llewellyn will walk up to you. I haven't received orders that you were coming. Hector isn't here.
Yes, we're attempting to get in on a matter. It's a bit of extra supply just before we head off. We're going to try and proceed with another investigation, and we'd love to be more covered than elsewise.
I don't know how to read the proper paperwork, but if you have it all filled out, I can process it for you.
I believe so.
She leans over,
I
turns
mainly
on a dim lumen over the work desk, stands next to it, sort of leans on it. Just a tight-fitting leather outfit, a heavy flamer, sort of leaned up against the wall. She looks very battle-hardened.
As if you've certainly seen quite a lot of service then.
She just casts you a dead gaze. She has white, bluish eyes, and you can see this depth in her eyes from the countless battles and horror and penance that she has received.
Well, if I manage to get back to what we're doing now, Well, I know you understandably may not be one for too much conversation. I think there might be a good amount of advice I could gain from you.
Do a charm test.
Understood. And as we are about to hopefully proceed with the papers set out, I quickly look down to Boyle as we're waiting for things to go through.
Feel free to do any requisition tests. Both of you.
All right.
And we can do that in the background as you're traveling. You don't need to do it right now. Yeah. Assuming you do all the paperwork and all the things.
So.
And then you can keep rolling as we roleplay.
Right. So, Neil, how was your time with the assassin? Or did
Wonderfully.
she vanish like almost immediately afterwards?
There was a moment of socialization I, for a second, was reminded of before we got here. And then she vanished, and I was flat out reminded of our reality right now.
Oof. Yeah. I mean, my whole experience with Franz was a little. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I kind of feel like I messed up a lot in front of him. You know what I mean?
I can understand, trust me. One of the main things you've got to remember, it may sound silly or a bit of a stretch that I'm applying right now, but in a lot of my experience, especially before now, when I'm trying to figure out anything or find anyone or work on improving anything I have, trial and error is just an immediate part of it.
Okay,
Supposedly
yeah,
working for the...
but like,
Yes.
the thing we're working on now leaves a little less room for error, especially since, I'm
Yeah.
working with not only an organization that can kill me at any moment, but a guy whose job it was to kill people if they ever did something
Yeah.
incorrectly. So, like, you can imagine how that's a bit of a different situation from you messing up on your starship travels. Not
I
to,
know, but one
be
of the
that
things
guy.
you got to remember, that's most important,
Llewellyn will walk
Especially-
past you and hold a hand up as if to say, be quiet. She walks up to the door and you can hear her say quite loudly, Inquisitorial business. Leave this room now. Sai will sort of
Understood.
look back and forth. No, she's saying it to Sai. Sai leaves the
Gotcha.
room. The door closes behind him. Llewellyn stands by the door. Don't tell them anything about our history.
Well, Franz did walk up to him and fully clothed in his old uniform, so I figured that was fair ground.
Understood.
Fair enough, will do.
Now, as we begin to proceed,
Yeah, right, forms and stuff. I have this right here. I'm pretty sure it's all filled in correctly. I dotted my I's and crossed all my T's, and Boyle will hand in his pile of paperwork. Kind of like his signature is messily scratched into the top of the stack on like a sheet that reads in High Gothic. Requisition form AT56937.35A27Z. And he hands it over with a big stack under it. Sorry, time from the when we're walking around in the underhive, still a bit clogged in the throat there. And then I have this stack over here and this stack over here, and I'm pretty sure that that's all I need. If you have yours, Neil.
I believe I do. One moment, I can pass it in Right about now, this pile might take a little bit to work through, but
You can see her
I'm
start to
certain
read the
information-
numbers on your forms, and she struggles to read. She like jolts back and forth. You can see her biting her lip. She shifts back and forth between documents, back again, back and forth, and in the end, she just holds the paper up next to various Ziploc bags that have been put on top of each other in the weapons locker, and she just begins visually comparing whether they look similar. Finally, she finds the right bags, pulls them out of the locker with a loud clunk, locks it, and hands you the bags on the table, containing everything you requested. That should be everything. Let me know if I made a mistake. I'm not really supposed to be doing this. I'm sorry.
certainly, and believe me,
No, it's fine. You're doing great. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I know Hector would have wanted me to help you if he was here.
it's more than understood. And trust me, in our company, you're more than fine.
I'll let the Inquisitor know.
Excellent then.
I don't know if you're looking for action or anything like that, but we're about to go on a mission undercover as a couple of the local vigils, and I mean, you're obviously a capable fighter. You'd probably be able to make a competent vigil. Would you be okay to join us on this?
Well, I have this mark from the Sisterhood. She points to a Sister of Battle insignia on her right cheek.
Neil's eyes light up for a moment. The
This-
Sisterhood. You mean the
This is-
sororitas?
This is a Sister of Battle, yes.
Yes, that's what he immediately, when hearing that, his eyes light up a bit and he looks
Oh,
at her
Got it.
and goes, yeah,
Got it.
the Sisterhood. As in the sororitas.
Her eyes, cold and lifeless, sort of darts over in your direction. She blinks and nods at the same time, almost childlike. Yes.
Well, certainly a lot more interesting and impressive than perhaps already had thought. It's either what we're doing right now, or it makes sense for you. We may need some assistance with what we'll be doing going forward, depending on what information we get from this. And it may be awkward for me to admit this yet. Due to another close encounter we had, he quickly puts his hand over by one of his legs, knocks, and you can hear definitely not fully organic material. Ended up running into a bit of bad luck during that. To be able to have you in any way by our side, if we do proceed to any sort of larger combat situation again, or behind enemy lines in a different way than we're about to, it would have me at bare minimum feel a million times more secure. I would be honored if it in any way is apparently part of your quarry involved in any of our business.
If you don't think I'll be ruining your disguise, it would be an honor to be commanded by you, Arbitrator.
Thank you.
Well,
Again,
if I'm not. You have to forgive me. I'm not quite familiar with your particular branch of the Imperial Creed, but if you allow me, I could, do a quick bit of makeup and touch-ups to conceal the tattoo.
Without saying a word, she will walk over to a bar stool, a metallic bar stool, and sort of slide it over the metal grit floor with this loud clank. She sits down, puts her hands on her lap, and just with it completely straight back, just looks straight ahead. She looks almost mechanical in her motions.
All right, I suppose I'll get started then. do you have and Boyle is going to pull out of his pocket just some like rudimentary concealer, some stuff like that, and he's going to approach and he's going to begin just putting some concealer on to hide.
As you walk over to her and begin working on her face, you can see her sort of take a deep breath. That smell. It reminds me of a hive world.
Yeah, sorry. When I was young, I was always splashing around in some chemical waste, so I kind of picked up the permanent smell of chemicals. Sorry, I know it's not exactly the most appealing to have shoved in your nose, but I'm almost done.
She gives a friendly smile and looks up at you. No, I like it. You can see her deep scars in her face as you begin to brush her hair aside and fix it up to look less like a sister of battle. She just blinks and you can see one of her eyes has this viscous liquid running down from it. It is almost closed shut entirely.
Boyle will, hearing her say this, blush and not knowing how to take a compliment will say, thanks, you smell nice too.
Her eyes sort of dart down at the floor and she just continues to stare at the floor.
Meanwhile, Neil will show a bit of a supportive smirk, but still attempt to be a bit more professional. And quickly go and say, I do apologize on mine as well. However, could I quickly check again what exactly your name may be?
She mumbles while he's working on her disguise. Llewellyn.
Llewellyn. It's excellent to meet you. You have met the, according to the commissar we work with, intrepid duo of Boyle and investigator Neil Kudu. We're arguably both really new here. We appreciate your acquaintance and we especially appreciate your alliance.
Warming up, and clearly she's been spent way too much time alone. You can see like a faint, insecure smile on her face. She looks up and you can hear her whisper, "It's so nice to meet you too. I don't spend a lot of time with people."
It's fine.
Well,
There are people who tend to not get too many others spending much time with us.
true.
So-
And it's nice to meet you as well. With that, it looks like I'm done. I kept the scars because they make you look cool and badass. And that'll probably help you with the disguise. But the tattoo should be properly concealed. And Boyle's gonna pull into his pockets full of junk that he, got during his like wandering about. He's gonna pull up like a metal shiv that's been polished to a shine, almost like a mirror. How do you look? And Boyle's going to show her the mirror with her face partially concealed. There's like some makeup on there to like do some touch-ups, so she looks a lot less like battle-hardened, but also no longer that much like a Saratos, and more just like almost like a female guardsman or a female Arbite.
She looks at the mirror and you can see her just throw a quick glance at it, almost disgusted. And then she just looks away from the mirror and pushes it back to you. Thank you.
Right. Well, I have a couple pieces of vigil armor here. So feel free to take this one, and you can take this one. And he hands one of the duffel bags over to Neil. And this one is mine, and then the commissar's is going to be this one, and yeah.
Give them each one a quick check over.
Yeah, make
Just
sure
to
that
make
the
certain
sizes-
that they seem to match this. Just to make certain
I
they
make
match the standards, especially I remember from training. And then hopefully, again, we get the sets we meant to. We make certain we get the spare ammo, including especially for the commissar's bolt gun. And
Right.
we head on off for the rest of this, and we head on off for this infiltration and the investigation. And hopefully some good armor in her size. Bit of a
Llewellyn
sarcastic smirk.
pulls on the Vigilite armor. As she begins to pull up the pants, the muscles in her arms and her biceps and generally everywhere are just like she's disturbingly fit. As she pulls it up, you can see that she could probably kick your ass. And she begins donning the armor, strapping it on very quickly. You can see that this is her natural element. Just being mute and putting on armor, she looks immediately completely confident. She looks back up and you just see this steely resolve in her face, and she'll begin walking to the door. Sion standing outside, she will just walk past him.
I give another once over to some of the gear and make certain that we have the ammo that will provide one or two or three at most extra clips for each different person's general gear or kit.
If you roll for it and succeeded on the requisition, you have it with you.
Excellent. What do I put in for the roll, though? Sorry.
Ammo is one scarcity lower than the weapon. So if it's a rare weapon, it's scarce to get 3 clips. Llewellyn will walk over to the elevator and travel back down along with you, and you all go down to the hangar.
Gotcha.
I'm going to assume that you're there waiting for them, Franz?
Mm-hmm.
I'm beginning to say really quickly between us as we approach over to him. I was going to say, and this is the commissar. He's essentially the one in charge, other than when either I or another associate of ours, a tech priest, have any sort of specialties to add in. We'll be meeting him obviously soon, since he's right there. I'm certain we'll be a million times better covered.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Llewellyn already knows Franz. That's how, I was introduced to her by Franz.
Llewellyn nods, again kind of childlike, and looks over to you. Yes, I have known him for years. I also knew your predecessor.
Well,
and fought alongside them.
I got introduced instead to apparently the assassin lady, and then she vanished. But yes, and as we approach up, Commissar, I believe we're certainly a lot better prepared now. And by the way, here's the bolt ammo.
You walk out into this giant mess hall, and you can see vigilites all around you. Everything is flooded in this bright white light. You hear the humming of massive vans driving in and out of this long tunnel. At the end, the other side of the bridge, is your bikes and van. Cyanan follows you over the bridge. You have Llewellyn with you, in disguise, as well as Hector. Hector has already donned his vigilite armor.
Alright. Between having an investigator, a hive odd job master mercenary, a commissar, and now Llewellyn and Hector, I believe we're more than set up for the infiltration we're about to do. Or I do want to ask one more thing really quickly. Anyone know about our resident psychic, or is he apparently off for the day?
Hector looks over his shoulder. He retired. He won't be coming back.
Retired?
He'll presumably another day.
At least for the night.
Oh, right, yeah,
Good
that
evening,
other
then.
meaning of the word.
As I thought. Alright.
No, your duty never ends.
Yep.
Apparently even in the afterlife. However, it seems our ride now is right here.
Awesome.
Ladies and gents,
You all get in the
There we
van and we'll begin driving out. Who is driving?
I
Leave
suppose I will
Boyle.
be.
Alrighty. Taking the van out of the massive gate, your eyes take a moment to adapt to the light of the city. By this point, I assume you've all rested a little bit at least. It is quite late at night. The precinct is empty, the streets are empty. You drive out and there's a draft from an open window. You feel this chill in the air and this freshness of the air due to the relative emptiness of the Grand Precinct. It is revitalizing. You begin driving on the empty roadway.
So, while we're driving, anyone with the knowledge of what Arbites are supposed to do at certain times want to go over protocol with us? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, Hector will lean forward.
Oh, damn, sorry, I was talking to Neil, my bad.
Yeah, I was just about to proceed, but go ahead.
But no, please, feel free. Maybe there's some local differences.
Hector will sort of snuff, will just lean back. It's fine, you can say it first. I can just fill in any info that you perhaps didn't know.
Again, unbelievably appreciated, truly. I was simply going to state, since you are all now with us for this, that presumably you are privy to some of the information. And I was going to try and go over a summary of what we do and don't know presently. Now, one of the first evenings, especially me and Boyle managed to get on board with this, we went into a particular area where we ended up encountering, it seemed, 2 to 3 different manners of adversaries, and a definitely secure sort of system that was trying to keep us out. And we managed to come across, it seemed, some sort of creatures that are blatantly being used or exploited in some manner, who are actively dangerous, not obviously from the city, and apparently involve in some way the present establishment of the city's support, or however they are being exploited and used. Some of these enemies included, it seems, corrupt Arbitus, and even heretics. However, main concern, one information we've got here, when looking at some parts of the establishment, is we're about to try and further inquiry, and then also some parts blatantly outside of it when it came to the criminal underbelly.
Sorry, Niall,
Is
corrupt
that-
in what way?
Yep, and then immediately corrupted, crooked in another. Is that whatever these creatures are, this should be a top priority. It seems that they in some way are a result or byproduct of something from before, which has blatantly been in some way altered and even accelerated. It seems as if there's some level of abuse being done, again, deliberately to try and either be a part of that acceleration or to find some other way of getting some other sort of result for whatever's being sorted here. The Vigil seems deep involved, and it seems as if whoever's at the head of the Vigil seems to have some sort of pecking order with a number of different crime groups. And we thus far have been given, when following the trail 2 times over, a deeper and deeper trail leading to some sort of Xenos. And then presently, add to that, when the exchange happened, Commissar Boyle, any other further information from that?
I mean, other than the fact that all the higher-ups are apparently being blackmailed by Xenos, Not much. Apparently they want some psychers from the planet to continue some storm. My personal theory is that they want to somehow keep cutting off the Imperium from this section of space, and that now that the psychers are dwindling on this planet, or they are dwindling, and that's why the storm died down for a bit, they are going to try to make more, and that's why these mutants are happening. All of that is pure speculation, though, because, I kind of thought that would make sense. That's why there's like a virus going around that makes people mutants, and the mutants are like psychic, and then they use the psychic to make the storm. It kind of makes sense to me, but anyway, that doesn't really have anything to do with our current mission, which I believe is that we're going to the Administratum building, where all the important people are currently being rounded up and kept by the Vigil, and so we're going to be all like, hey, regards, and we're going to be guarding the place. And when we say we're going to be guarding, but we're actually going to be like investigating to see if there's, heretics or mutants or aliens doing heretic, mutant, or alien things. And then, we'll either tell somebody who can stop it or stop it ourselves. So yeah.
I would agree with with this. Franz will slam shut his notepad and put it under one of the flaps in the armor, and say, I agree with Boyle. We need to actually keep one thing at a time. We can speculate on this later. We can make theories on this later. Eyes and ears open, and because, well, let's face it, we're not going to have any mutants running about here. And if they are, well, they're probably going to be going after someone else, not us.
It does seem they are being deliberately used, and it would help to try and find a way to better connect, if there are connections, different leads we've thus far accrued.
Well,
However, yes,
we do know
when it comes to
where...
this evening... Go ahead.
Sorry to, I know that this isn't it's been a little off topic here, I guess, kind of, but, we do know where, two of those mutants are, and they are apparently being detained rather thoroughly, so, maybe we should, did one of you guys, tell somebody that there were mutants at, below the church? In the crypts?
Right.
So that we could, should we radio that in?
I believe the commissar mentioned that there's a contact we have for that. I don't know if we have got to them just yet, since we had to immediately go to swing this portion of the mission. I do know that right now we're supposed to be making certain we blend, and keep in mind how the right way to ask the right questions. Don't give ourselves away. We managed to even spark so much as a side conversation with the right person. Could have...
At present, Neela is correct. The mutants, to the best of our knowledge, are still there, and no one knows it. Apart from us. So,
you said
essentially, hopefully, best case scenario, no one runs across them. Worst case scenario, someone does run across them, but either which way, we're kept out of it, and we can still circle back to that. We have the vials. We have the information on Doggo. I think we've got as much as we need out of there, and to blow that powder keg up is not optimal at this time.
Right. I believe you had said or mentioned something about someone who studied Xenos we could speak with. I'll have to check further later on. However, one thing to remember again, what we're about to go this is infiltration. Make certain that we get in there, they view us as one of theirs, then we get out before they realize elsewise. Again, try to remember, find the right ways to ask the right questions. So much as spark a side conversation, as I said, we could possibly get somewhere around 2 or 3 different portions of what we've been doing with information, especially due to the fact that we know all the council members this evening will be there.
Right, makes sense to me. So, would you mind giving us a little bit of a hint for how we should ask questions and how we should talk like Arbites? Like, how
Right.
would you talk to one
Unless
of your
you-
coworkers?
Well, it depends. I'm going to say there are terms for the individuals involved, but obviously none of us particularly will know any of them there. Which immediately means we want to be able to present ourselves as having a reason that we have arrived, possibly having a backup story for where we had arrived from if they did say we cast a transfer, and to make certain that we're either very on point professional, or if you know you actually can get a rapport with any of them. If you can make that connection, then it is worth it. If you try to push it and it's not working, you'll probably be exposed, if not entirely given away. So either stick to professional, make certain that what we're saying is consistent and makes sense, adds up, or if you do notice inroad with someone that doesn't give anything away, then feel free to take it. If you just keep cracking jokes and trying to pull some charm off that's not really working, well, again, these people are trained professionals. They all have their badges for reasons. And they're more than glad to put anyone they run into if they find verified reason behind any sort of bar. So please remember that. Right, Boyle?
Alright, I'll guess. Alright, I'll keep it clipped and professional.
Yes. And again, depending on what information we have, they ask us where, obviously, we are from and how we're getting there. I believe it would be useful to say, bare minimum, in a few of our cases, not that we are somehow just a part of the city's overall arbitus, yet are not seen to be known by certain members, but rather that we had some sort of transfer, something that they would have to check to prove wrong, and that checking would take time to do. So they would have a reason they would get put off the more that certain events proceed. Does anybody know a good option for a sort of event, some sort of location or nearby system, city, something we could have been coming in from or we were called in from? We can tell
Well,
them.
we could have been called in from, like, the moon Juno, I think it was called. It's like the pleasure moon where all the important people are. You'd say that, like,
We're on Juno.
oh, right, sorry. Wasn't that there were, like, a pleasure moon that, like, people were called? What was the name?
Potogram.
Let me check the data slate. While I'm driving here, France, read the data slate. Tell me what the name of the moon is.
Autogram.
Hotogram, right? Yeah, we could say we're from there. Hotogram.
Excellent, then. I say as long as we make certain that it takes some time to even check, then hopefully that'll get put off at top of that anyhow. And even if it doesn't, it buys us time right away and has us have something that's going to actually make sense. But yeah, I was going to say,
Right.
once we
yeah,
get there,
that's
though,
actually a good point. Yeah, we should probably ask. Hector, are there any Vigil members on Hotogram?
Hector looks down at his data slate and up again. How would I know? We're not surveillancing any of them. Perhaps that's something we should start doing. And what a better opportunity than now that they're here.
True. If we can
it
find
would be
whatever-
a good additional or optional bonus to try and make certain we drop the right devices where we know they'll be carrying any of their equipment. However,
Neil, just out of curiosity, do they generally go with their own entourage?
generally, the ones who know each other enough know that they can count on each other. So typically, if you have built up rapport with someone, you know that it's worth working with them, they will do so.
No, would it not be a better idea to say that we were from a different hive city or something like that, brought in for this event?
It would be.
Because
However, I do.
The only reason I sort of bring this forward is because general security is probably going to be held by local boys. The higher ups are going to bring in their own people.
Exactly, that is a good point. However, we again do, I for the most part agree with that. However, again, we need to make certain that we don't have too many holes in anything we're saying. They ask us for a specific hive city, we need to be able to give that city. And on top of that, be able to back up what we're saying when it comes to experience and what sort of typical processes are done when it comes to arbitists getting on in a hive city and doing any of their investigations or doing apprehensions. I can manage to pass for that. However, if they begin to dig deeper, they'll probably figure out I'm from a ship. So that's what I want to try and be a bit more careful of.
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think these guys would assume that because this planet has been cut off for quite a while. So, and apparently from the reactions of the people who we tried to talk to originally, if you remember, Franz, from when we got him to talk to that big boss guy, it seemed like vigil uniforms are not exactly common. So I don't think they'd suspect somebody hiding unless if we say something real stupid, which is why I plan to keep my mouth shut for most of it.
Right, and sincerely, they mentioned that a lot of the arbitists on this don't typically pack their uniforms.
What? Wait, so why did I go and get these uniforms then, and these outfits, and these like?
No. I'm saying that can work in our favor, but it will change up the situation. You said that the uniforms weren't that common.
Well, that they weren't like stolen very often. No.
Exactly. However, also there is the case of running into some who are meant to be undercover arbiters. And depending on how many are being put towards that versus other occupations or parts of the department can help us find where, if they need some people, we'll be able to stand in. You get the point. Yet, atop of that, and then to Franz's point, if we go with the moon or the hive city, again, the nearer we are to them, as Commissar pointed out, more believable it is that we're here for this evening, yet the more questions we will get. If you go with the moon, some might question it, some will accept it, and we'll have to try and work out the gaps. Think about that and try to decide who's going to go with which story, or if we're going to try and keep to the same one. And then also once we get there, I'll meet back up with you guys eventually. However, first, I'm going to try and take care of some of the other parts of the mission, including making certain that I get the surveillance footage again, that I check who's where and what connections we have, while you guys mingle and try to get more info. I'll put my helmet on and I will begin marching promptly over to where the actual organizers of the event are and try to make my way to the security room.
Do you think that we should travel? Do we think we should travel in pairs just so that nobody is like caught alone by something?
I would, but I fear at first I'm gonna have to go up, state the general situation and why we're there, and then they're gonna want me to continue speaking with some of the authorities for the authorities, essentially. And since I have the most experience, they'll be able to pass off the most compared to everyone else for a while. And then I can meet back up with you guys. As I said, we can then pair off, finish up the rest of what we're trying to look into, and make certain that once we believe we've got as much information as we can, that we pass out of there before they find out anything when they check their records. I'll be able to get hold of the security footage, which is good for us in general, and will allow us to overlook what sort of different comparison and contrast we can get between that and the other security footage we had from the clone. See if there's any sort of connections there. And then go over the other notes we have from the different conversations we're about to try to start.
Right. That
I need
makes
to
sense.
first
On that note, Franz, while you were in the data loop, did you manage to get like some scans of the building, or like the building plans? Yeah, the building plans. That's what they're called.
No, I went for something different.
Oh well, we'll be able to figure it out as we go. It'll lend more credence that we're not locals, and that we're transferring in.
Looks like we're almost here, so put your game faces on.
All right. Let's do this. And Boyle will pull off. We're currently driving in our own van, correct?
Yeah.
Then Boyle will pull off into one of the alleyways nearby. He'll bring it to a park. He'll just he'll pop out of the side and say, "All right, everyone. Well, probably you should take us away. You'll take us away then, Neil." And Boyle will form up, looking like he doesn't exactly know what to expect. So he sort of stands in the alleyway. He's sort of like one of his boots is sort of halfway in like a dank puddle, and he'll go to a very rough at rest position that kind of gives Franz that makes Franz upset because he's used to seeing soldiers who are like good at doing what they do. He's currently looking at what is essentially a person imitating a soldier poorly.
And Llewellyn and I will go into lockstep behind Neil.
Awesome. Let's step out of the van. We can do a 5-minute break, and then if anyone is still here and doesn't have anything to do, we can keep going.
Yeah,
so 5-minute break.
Excellent. And also, really excited and always love being able to get into the roleplay with you guys.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yes,
I love
thank
it.
you.
Give me 2 seconds, I'll be back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a blast as well, so, yeah, I'm probably gonna go grab myself some lunch real quick, or dinner, I know what things are called, and then I will be back.
And I'm glad now we have Llewellyn too. However, I do want to try and find a way to also still acknowledge and try to ask a few more questions of Hector. But yeah. Wondering exactly how to go about that though.
Back.
Also, I wanted to try and find.
Sorry, I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, you may have noticed that Fran hasn't told you what he's found in the data loom yet. Don't worry, he will eventually.
Yes, I was gonna say I'm noticing that it's sort of like okay, I was waiting for someone to accompany me for this one. Now we've got admittedly a wicked good team, but I'm supposed to be the guy who handles a lot of the info, and right now I only have some of the info. As well as the silly and sort of comical awkward.
Alright, I'm
moment of
back.
going, "I'm not
Does
there."
anyone have to go?
I temporarily will be, but then I'll be back after about an hour or something because again, I
Yeah,
have
that's
relatives
way
who
too late.
surprise me.
That's way too late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Relatives who surprise me.
Let's pause the session. Stop the session there. Are you still here, Nick? Or Nick?
All right.
Caleb, are you still here?
He said he was going to be right back after getting himself a meal.
Then, if you have to go now, Nick, we should probably put a bookmark in this game.
Sounds good to me. It's actually a pretty damn exciting place to pick up from.
It is a very good place.
the
Very,
next
very good place. Yeah. We can still keep going. There's no imminent threat, and you can still get to the place. But this is
plus,
this is
either
a great
way,
place to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, either way, in addition to the trio we typically have, we also have the obviously NPCs now, Hector and Llewellyn too, which means not only may there be more options, but also even in the case of having two of us at first, and one of us joining later next time, we're already going to have a pretty large team.
Yeah.
I say there's that, and then the fact that while playing Space Gustavo is obviously wicked fun, trying to deal with whether or not there's wannabe Gustavo in the goddamn country.
I can continue
On
playing,
puppet.
but yeah, three players is my minimum to keep playing. So
Sounds good to me.
we probably have to stop there. What do you think, Aaron?
Suppose we're probably gonna have to stop because, well, Nick's a little bitch, and
Hey.
I'm actually hyped. I want to keep going, but
I want to too. I just have to immediately respond to something that surprised me. I wasn't expecting this.
it's a burglar.
Yeah.
he's sitting tapping his hand with duct tape behind him.
Yeah, it's like really there's something in the house that really surprised me, and I'm gonna have to go soon. And you can hear like
Very
pots
funny.
banging, someone breaking through the door.
Yeah. I have an excuse of a weapon. We're going to say that, and I meant to check. Since I believe I saw Tavi said he was good to go. Get to catch up with his account says he's online.
Say again?
Tavi's account says he's online. However, I haven't quite caught him yet.
No, he never turns off his computer. I've known him for 5 years.
Oh, all right. Well, I suppose
He
that can
just-
make sense.
He just leaves his PC on, so he's definitely not on.
Yeah, he's not a little bitch who has to get up in the morning to go.
Yeah, oh, I have to get up to work. Oh, I have to make money. Blah. Like, more.
Oh, please, we all know you steal it.
He's just out stealing stuff. And, you know,
Well, unless he lives in New York, I mean, he might have to do some legitimate shit.
putting together old answering machines to sell on eBay.
Getting lightly stabbed over said answering machines.
Sometimes his character's way more real than we think.
His character probably lives in a safer place.
Oh god.
It was one where the transformer blew up across the street and he just went,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was a good one though, man. It was good to get back in the saddle. It's good to get back in the action. I'm not gonna get sick again. Please don't get sick again.
That's what I was about to say. Is I hope things are going well for you guys.
Yeah, I can't. I've had enough, man. I can't do it again.
Always remind your children to wash their hands. Always.
Yeah. No. So
They won't always listen
Hopefully, I'm
because-
gonna stay healthy for. I know I'm gonna stay healthy next week because my immune system, just from surviving this stuff, is like a Terminator. So I'm gonna survive at least until next week. That's for sure.
Is it more of a Terminator than most of the grannies who secretly have guns back in Scotland?
You have to ask Aaron. Aaron, you have to ask Aaron about that. He's Scottish, so
I'm not Scottish.
you totally are. You
No.
work for Scotland Yard.
I was gonna say Northern Irish isn't the same, but my family's blended, which is basically equal.
He's Scottish.
You know, for someone who had to go, you're hanging around.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
because
You're just making
That's
stuff
'cause
up.
I'm told-
Nick?
No, that's because I've been told on the phone that they're gonna show up at something. So they'd be here at 6 and 6 or 6.
We could have done a lot of things in the game now by now.
Right, so in other words, they're turning up. Just tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Say you're busy, you're playing Dark
Yeah,
Heresy.
these are relatives supposed to be having fucking plans over the entire weekend. But I thought I was going to be catching up tomorrow, but it's apparently today.
Wow. Imagine having a social life. That's just rude.
Terrible.
Yeah, well, that and most of my relatives sort of. I try to plan things ahead, and then a lot of them say, "Let's go by day." I go, "What do you mean by day?" They go, "My plans are, my schedule is strict till it's not, and then it's strict again, and I'll just tell you how I'm doing whenever it's working." What about my fucking schedule?
Oof. Yeah, I know a couple people like that. I mean, I have two types of people in my family. The guys who like to plan by week and the guys who like to plan by month. And I'll admit, I'm a
Nice.
person who plans by week, but oof, do the people who do I ever irritate the people who plan by month?
I don't plan. I
Me
just
and my
say
brothers
no.
Me and my brothers will literally plan something somewhere around a week ahead, and then it turns out it's about 2 months down the line. And I go, okay, whatever. I'll just get back to doing studying and work and all of that then while I wait. Yeah. I know that they're extremely small themselves, though. I mean, especially with their having recently just done their move, they basically have a mortgage for a whole half of a house they now live in. And on top of that, right before they moved in, our stepbrother also needed a place to go, so they ended up bulking him in too. So now my blood brother, my foster brother, and my stepbrother are all living in the same place. Yeah, as well as the cat and the dog. But yeah.
But it was good to see you all again. Great game. Fucking good to be back in playing it.
Oh yeah, good to be back.
Excellent.
Yeah, sorry for getting turned around.
It's fine,
Yeah,
trust
no,
me.
yeah, I apologize as well for not realizing that we didn't leave. You know, had some first game back, growing pains, but I will be on top of it next week, 100%.
Exactly.
What was
when
the-
you miss several weeks, it's like everything just gone. I have
What
to
exactly-
reload
It's
to
fine
remind
again.
myself.
You have some blood coming out of your head. You know that happens.
True.
What was that about?
What was what about?
Getting in the fight.
The whole locker thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got.
yeah, no. I was basically just thinking, oh yeah, I'll go find a locker and I'll just take some civilian clothes because I don't have any other clothes other than the clothes that I'm wearing.
Yeah, but whenever you were caught, why didn't you just go, sorry, my bad?
Because I felt like that the dude would just like hit me anyway.
Fair enough.
Loving
That's
this
one
by
of the
saying
parts
because
of the. Sorry, that's one of the parts of the session I enjoyed the most.
yeah.
You know, I
Yes,
also
I
it was
really enjoy hitting my players.
yeah, I
Sorry,
figured
it's just who I am.
that's why I designed Boyle. He is the loser, and it's good that we got because like what I like to do with like a lot of my characters is I make them like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like idiot good people.
I
like,
got what you're saying.
Yeah, and so what's very important is that they need to
Ah.
have moments where they just fucking suck.
Oh, Food Panda.
The illusion is ruined.
That's a really cool concept. I picked that up when he took the punch, and it was like, oh, this is different. This is interesting. This
I
is.
was gonna say because again, I love Boyle as a
Most people
character.
do the power trip thing. But that was interesting.
Yeah, I felt a little bad that the moment that Bronze came in and said that's his adjutant, I went, yeah, I think little Boyle can be pretty agitating at times. Not to me, but to others. Sorry, just sort of wordplay. I just really thought, there's just going to be a chance to use that pun.
Yeah, no, it's important to like with characters like this. They need to have a balancing act. Because like you know when you see the character in media like a Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, which is a horrible example because I dislike that character, but it's
I have
like
no idea what you're talking about.
okay, well
It's a anime that's gotten pretty big with some people, not so much with
Yeah.
others. It's a 50-50 sort of popularity.
What's like a thing that you watch where there was like an idiot, but like he was very good at one specific thing?
Food Panda.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, like Poe being competent at kung fu is good because, like, it makes him like a. Or no, better yet, the Flash from the animated Justice League series. You know that scene where the Flash like runs around the world to punch
Oh,
the
right,
fingers
right,
of
right.
Lex Luthor and like Brainiac. Have you ever watched that?
No,
Yes.
but I can guess it. I can guess.
Right. Well, basically, the reason why that scene is so cool is because there are three main reactions that you can have from a funny character that like is an idiot. You have the haha, idiot character is an idiot. You have the oh man, idiot character is cool, so cool, and you have the oh no, idiot character is taking things seriously, and this is actually very scary or sad. And so,
Yes,
if
because
you
if the
only
character
have
who
cool
typically
moments,
laughs at everything,
you can't have
Yeah.
funny moments or oh no moments anymore. So that's why you need to have those moments where the person just gets dogged on.
because if you find the character who typically is constantly throwing a punchline, making a joke, or laughing at everything, and you find the moment that he is actually serious, then that's when there's going to be a major tone shift very easily. There's going to be actual sort of people there. Generally.
Well, all I seen was two guys with loud pistols and Boyle with none.
I don't think they had last pistols. Well, they weren't drawing the last pistols at least.
One of them had it holstered at least on his chest.
Oh, shit.
The bully.
I'm gonna say I'm hearing my relative. By the way, I was going to say, always love catching you guys when I can. Just say hopefully to speak soon and to catch you again later on for the next one, eh?
Yep, indeed.
Have a good
Gotcha.
one, and
Cheers.
talk to you as always.
Absolutely.
Thanks to you as well. I say, you say, good luck obviously with everything, Caleb. Hopefully speak to you soon. Good luck, Aaron. Hopefully speak with you soon. And
Yep.
obviously, Morton, please remain healthy. Yes.
I will. They're not gonna get me this time. I'm drinking C vitamin as we speak.
I was going to say cheers and speak soon. Bye for now, eh?
Yep.
That's it.
Although I do have full confidence Boyle will get his own back.
Maybe we'll
No,
we'll
that'd
see
be
how it
fun.
progresses. But yeah, no. We'll see. Maybe Boyle will be like, "Hello, yes, I have changed your first name in the system to Fart. You are now Officer Fart." Or maybe Boyle will do something super fucked up, and we'll have a laugh about that.
Maybe he
And if
gets sick. Maybe he gets sick of rat.
True. Though I don't think Boyle's a cannibal.
Everyone's a cannibal. They just don't know it.
True. In that case, I don't think Boyle has been driven to that point yet. But maybe he has. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a joke about it at some point.
Really appreciate you guys role playing tonight. It was fun, high quality role playing.
No worries. I
Good
tried
stuff,
to work
good
more
stuff.
of like the physical environment with like the wake up scene and stuff. So I think I can still do some more, but like I'm working on it.
You're relatively new to the game, and we had several weeks off, and then we're just jumping into it. I mean, of course, you need first you need to be there for the entire summary of the mission, which we didn't have this week. That's a really important thing because it reminds everybody of, okay, this is where we are, this is what's happening. And so yeah, since we didn't have that this week, I'm amazed you guys even managed to move through the world at all.
I mean, what I had kind of like expected the session to be was like it was going to be kind of like last session, but like for the other two people, for the assassin and for the investigator, and there would be them going to like the building to like talk to people and stuff.
Your mic is very low.
I'm just speaking very softly because I'm in a library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in my school library right now. There's not a lot of people around, but I don't want to like get my regular volume.
Gotcha. Okay, I can just barely hear you, but I'll turn your volume up.
I mean, I could just talk to my normal volume, and it doesn't look like anyone's looking up, so... Is this better?
I turned it up to 200%.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I have a screen that you should be able to see right now. That is like a NPC list screen where you can see clues. So all the clues in the campaign are going to be listed on this page. The locations as well. You can see Vasuna Regis, Solosarum, all the locations on the planet. You can see what they are, and then on the right hand side you should be able to see the NPCs and their clues when you begin investigating them. You've heard a few new names, so I'm gonna reveal a few more people, but
Oh, sweet.
this is basically what you would have needed this session to be able to roleplay correctly, which you should normally have. So I'm gonna give
I
it
think
a-
I'm just gonna take a screenshot of it if you don't mind, and then like I'll just have it in the background.
This is gonna be on this screen all week. I'm just gonna leave it on this screen.
Oh,
So-
perfect. Thank you.
So you just I usually run my missions like that. So you heard about Lucia Vale, the Duchess of Puttigrim. You heard about Martyr Domus. You heard about